Check-in time.
Yeah, so I think we're live is hitting folk right now.
Mhm.
So we're live. We got like two people on the live. So it's like Facebook's
Uh,
doing this thing.
all right, Facebook. I really wish I could share it. I hate I'm on my phone
I'm gonna
because
go
I
ahead.
want to share it.
Here, I'm gonna click you in and share it with you.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think I'm on my I want to say
Oh wow, the link is not available. This thing's tripping. Mhm. So, try to invite us. Mhm. Invite us.
My
Okay.
apologies.
So we got Lady Venus. So your Facebook page is tagged. So
Yes, and also when I went to share it, that's what happened. It disconnected when I went to share it.
we got Lady Venus. So
So I'll share it later.
I tagged you, so it should show up on your page.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. So I'll check your first. Yeah, it's on your page, so you're good.
Okay.
Yep, gotcha. Yeah, so all right, let's reaching out to YouTube. Like we got everybody on there. Like someone commented. So to everybody out there, peace was good. We got YouTube, Living Soul 101 Zone. So that's what's up. So we got Venus, Lady Venus,
Yes.
Lady Venus. And so she's
Yes.
on.
Yes.
We're just gonna vibe out about the new book release, Phases of Femininity. So go ahead, like introduce yourself, and we'll go ahead and just start vibing. You know what I'm saying about the book and stuff like that. Things you.
Sounds good. All right. Well, like you said, I'm Venus. And I am so honored and excited to be here to talk about this book with you. It is an amazing book. But what do I do? I'm a nurse by profession, but by trade, I do energy work. I am a lovist, so I'm a catalyst for love and healing and growth. Um, I am a passionate herbalist. So I grow my own herbs. I make my own medicine. I believe that people should have their medicine cabinets in their backyards. So I teach people how to grow and cultivate their lives where it is um, conducive to to the space in which they live in. So if they live in a small space, I teach you how to grow um, your foods and herbs in a small space. And if you have a larger home or you have land, I can do that as well. So yeah, I'm a yoga instructor, and I'm a part of the organization, the Gathering of Goddesses. So I work with kids and adults alike, and I love my life.
And you love your life.
I love my life.
You love your life as the lovest.
Yes, I love my life as the lovest. Yes, yes, the lovest.
So
And
that's
we
what's
have a
up.
system, energy healing system as well that we'll be introducing. Um, my twin and I, Amor. And so that's to come. We're working on that.
Okay, that's what's up. Looking forward to that, and much props and shout out to them more.
Yes.
Bringing the lovest movement, the lovest healing system.
It's all about love. It's all
Yeah.
about love. Everything. Love is a catalyst for all things.
Mm. So in that, so everybody y'all know I'm Satori Seals, and actually, just released the book Phases of Femininity, and I'm just vibing with Venus, the lovely lady Venus, and so Venus kind of got to dive into the book a little bit, and we're gonna kind of just let her just give her take on. We were kind of talking earlier, and she was kind of lit up. Hey, what's good, Venus? And she was just kind of lit up, and so
Yeah.
just want to capture, a good time for, I like to say, the mature folk conversation, and because
Grown folk conversation.
grown folk, grown folk things,
Grown folk.
grown folk observations, and grown folk dialogue.
Mhm. Oh my
So,
gosh, girl. Observation
so
conversation. That's right.
conversation. So, I guess we just kind of kick it off and kind of just break the ice. And so, what was I guess, the initial impression when you read through the book? Because you said you was like, "Yo, I like it." So, just what was the initial impact or the impression that you got?
Okay, so I am I'll be 50 my next birthday. And so to actually read the book and look back and see my journey and my phases of life was just kind of exciting to see and to not only see it, but to feel it. Like I would read. So, say for instance, the first phase of life, when we're craving, you see what I'm saying, acceptance in the book, you explain that into detail. And it was like, wow, you see what I'm saying? Yes, that's where I was. I felt it. It felt like someone had looked back into the journey of my life and put it on paper from the time I was 16 till now. And like I expressed to you earlier, to have a man understand my life before the who I was, the who I am, and the who I am about to be. Because I felt like this is what that book does. It explains who I was, who I am now, and who I am going to be. It was just amazing, and for it to come from a man, yeah, this is definitely a cheat code for other men if they want to know the journey of a woman and what phase of a woman or the woman that they're dating is in, they need to get this book. Initially I went into it believing that this was a book for women.
Right.
And it is. But it is also
Yeah.
a cheat code for men because it is on point. It is on point, and it kind of shows you how the woman matures and where she'll be at what age and where she'll be in what stage of her life. And so it would help a man maneuver around that to know what she needs at this point and to see how it's going to be different when she hits this stage of life. It's amazing. It's an amazing book. Like it really is.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, like for real. Like honestly. Like, and I could go on because I think I can. My daughter turns 16 next year, so this is a book that I'm going to give to her so that she can see. You see what I'm saying? Where her journey, may take her, and where it should take her, because the book is it's about the progression of womanhood, not just the phases of femininity, but the progression,
Yeah.
how you move from one stage and how it looks. And I also said I was going to gift it to my son because he's 22 and his thing is, I don't understand women and I'm trying to understand women. And I think this will give him a little insight.
Yes.
Yeah, nah, you're a bad brother because this book is good. It's good. It's really good.
Thank you.
It is. Yeah,
So,
yeah, no.
so the cheat code for men, like, what do you think one of the main things that you think us men will get out of it? You know what I mean? Just anything jumps out in your mind about that? Just,
Understanding the
mm,
changes that a woman goes through, or the phases, as you say, just understanding that the woman. So, say for instance, I met my ex at 21, and we we did 21 years of time together. But I
mm,
think if he understood that at 21, I needed so much more than I did, or so many different things, that there were different things in my life that I needed from him,
mm,
that I didn't necessarily need, or there were different things that I need now in this phase of my life that I didn't necessarily need when we were younger. It would really have helped him understand, like I said, the phases of my life from, going from a mother to an empty nest is a big deal. And it kind of
mm.
explains that.
Yes. So that's
Yeah.
the thing there. Your twins on here. Hey, peace for more. I see you just
Yes,
popped
that's
on.
my
Yeah,
twin.
yeah. He's on there. We was giving you a shout out a little earlier, brother. Uh, on the Love is Movement, the Love is Brand.
That's
It's,
right. That's right. The catalyst for healing and love. Yes.
yeah. So you was married for 20 years, right?
21. Yeah.
21, 21. And so you basically in the discovery phase, right? You began the discovery phase.
Mm-hmm.
That's 16 to
21.
25. So it was a little in
Yep,
there.
I was
And then,
21.
yeah. And then you merged into the confirmation phase, did a full phase in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then you bled over into the magnetizing phase. And that magnetizing phase is like from 36 to 45. So for everyone that's kind of tapping in, and I know you probably don't maybe have the book. So when we look at, if you could think back, well, you can talk. You went through three phases. You tiptoed to three different phases
Yeah,
in
I'm
your
headed
book.
towards that fourth phase.
Yeah. So, what was the things that if I mean when you kind of read it and you was reflecting, what was the things you think from that discovery phase? You kind of like in the middle towards the end of that, right? So that
Mm-hmm.
discovery phase, what do you recognize when you got married? What was that like? Are you able to kind of recall anything?
Well, I tell you, it was a time of needing of confirmation, like needing to know that um, what I was doing was right and what I was doing was good. Just the need of confirmation, just the need of validation. And I think you hit that on the head. It's like you're trying. I'm starting a family. I'm being a mother, and just the need to know that these things that I'm taking on, I'm doing correctly. I
Mm,
could definitely see that. That was a definite. And then moving into that phase of life, the second phase where I am um, definitely a cheerleader, because I'm not just a cheerleader for myself or my spouse, but for my kids. I became everyone's cheerleader.
yeah.
My life was consumed with support of others. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, yeah. hmm
mm. So
And then
and
you go
then,
ahead.
nah, I was saying so.
And
So
then.
and then and
hmm
then you moved over into that magnetizing phase, which is that 36 to 45 range. And what you be
hmm
calling that? What was you?
Well, that is when the big change, I think, started even in the relationship. And that is when I started to want to, or just to look more to self, like to nurture self more, to
Mm,
explore more, to get out there because my kids were getting older, and that freedom that I once had before I had kids, I'm starting to feel it. So I wanted to utilize that time to get to know myself again, get to nurture myself, get to find my womanhood and my femininity, to grasp all that back because I had been, like you said, a mother and a cheerleader for so many years. Now it's time for me. And that is when the marriage really started to become shaky, because now I've gone from being their cheerleader to a cheerleader of self.
yes.
Like I'm really digging into myself and finding who I am and sitting in it. You see what I'm saying? And trying to relax
Mhm.
in it. And when I think when my partner, he couldn't understand that because I'm changing.
Yeah.
This is not the person I married. The person that I married was insecure and needed me for validation. The person that I married was my cheerleader. The person that I married was the mother to my kids. But
Yeah.
all of a sudden here this person is wanting to be her own woman. What is that about?
You wasn't ready for that.
And so I think that if if that was known ahead of time, if he knew that ahead of time, if he
Mm,
could have understood that she's going to go through this phase, you
yes.
know, that it would have been we could have maneuvered through it had I known, had I been
Right.
able to you see what I'm saying, to identify that I was going to go through these changes. I think we could have maneuvered better, possibly. I
Right.
don't know,
You'll
you
know.
know.
No. But it's interesting. It's, it's interesting you hit that. And so for everybody to give some additional context. Um, so this phase is, that Venus is hitting on, and we veterans, right? In terms of we've been in long-term relationships, and anyone that's on here listening, you're gonna go through these different phases. You're gonna cycle in things and cycle out, and in those cycles, there are initiations and they're like activations of certain aspects of yourself individually and aspects even in a relationship collectively. But the thing also
Hmm.
is you can have things being deactivated. And unfortunately, it's kind of what you was
Mm,
expressing, like, okay, I hit this uh phase, and all of a sudden it seemed like the aspects of the collective union started experiencing a deactivation.
hmm.
And so to kind of give it context, so when we're um talking about that magnetizing phase, which is from 36 to 45, the focus, and you was listening to me saying self mastery, tapping into your
Hmm.
feminine power, right?
Hmm.
And understanding your
Hmm.
attraction. And so, and the forces that are influencing this phase is contraction and
Hmm.
expansion, right? And
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
that's that's just like and under the dome, right? It's like it's this aspect of contraction and expansion. And so it's almost like you're being streamlined into your feminine power, your femininity, into
Hmm.
who you really are. And the same time is that if he's in a similar age, he's going through his phase, and the masculine has, their phase. And so in this is why when I sit there, when I coach individuals and talk about relationships, I say you got to fall in love with the unknown.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Because that's what happens. See,
Yes.
we get so parked inside definitions. And I've done videos on that and stuff, and so and this thing you're highlighting. This is what it can create later on in the relationship when you start adding time to it, because you are so fixated on what you thought you knew
Or
instead
who
of
you thought you knew.
or who you thought you knew, instead of understanding
Hmm.
the evolutionary process and you might know the person's base, but respect and look at the base and understand there's an expansion, right? There's an unfolding as you should desire this level of unfolding, and you should already be open to the love of that part. And unfortunately, you know, that doesn't always happen, as we already know, as we already mentioned,
No.
and the reason why is because these forces during this time, especially with women in that 36 to 45, that 9 year, that phase, it's really about expansion or contraction. Now, she might not be, it depends on her state of mind, because she could be on her shadow aspect of herself going through this as well, right? She might have
Mm-hmm.
going inside herself, inside during this time as well, which is still being bled over and projected out into the dynamics. So there's a lot that's going on, especially, and you think I always like to in childhood I like to put them in phases like first phase, second phase, third phase. Third phase like even at middle school on through high school. What phase do you think you was in when you was in the child rearing part during your magnetizing phase? The kids. Well, most of them were
It it would well, I had my first at 21.
okay.
So I first, second, and I'm still rearing a 14-year-old. So I mean a 15-year-old. So all three those first three phases for sure. And it's like I read through the book and I can see like even going through the phases, how differently I raise or I'm raising, you see what
Yeah,
I'm saying, the last
yeah,
child, you know. So because it's not, I'm still her cheerleader, don't get me wrong,
right.
because I'm still her cheerleader, I'm still a mother. She still comes first, but there's a better balance.
Yes, yes,
There's a better balance of how my time is consumed, how much energy I give, and it's more of a, okay, yes, I'm my cheerleader as well.
yes,
I'm your cheerleader too. I'm still here. I'm still mommy, but mommy's still an individual. I'm still a woman. I'm still me. You see what I'm saying? And
mhm,
I'm not consumed with motherhood, which
yes.
I don't think is a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad
It's,
thing.
and no one can, I mean, at this, like you said, at this phase in my life, no one can convince me of that, you know,
No,
because the love and energy is still there. It's just that I'm also loving and putting energy into myself.
nice. Now that's funny you said that because we talked about the magnetizing phase. So everybody, some of the others chiming in, Venus is actually in the fourth phase. She's not in the third phase anymore. We were just reflecting back. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
All grown woman. You know what I'm saying?
Grown
Because,
woman.
you know, 49 and next year she'll be trending to be 50. So she's in the blossoming and expansion phase. And so as you heard her talking about is like, the boundary. That's what jumped out to me. You just got done talking. And so what's
Hmm.
interesting is the elements that oversee during this time, this phase that you're in, is the metal.
Hmm.
And that the metal is referenced and coincides symbolic of boundaries, right? Um,
Hmm.
it also has that protection of family and connection, right? But the
Hmm.
boundary
Of course.
aspect, so
Hmm.
like more your nurturing aspect is different than now I'm thinking about your numbers I know about, because, and I'll say this so everybody can understand where I'm coming from. Venus has a lot of metal in her soul profile chart. So as you was talking, I was listening. I was like, ah, there it is, you know. Um, but you can see this nurturing quality about you, but it's not like kissy kissy. Uh, it's almost like make sure I understand where you're at. It's a little different. Um, it's a little more calculated, right? It's
Hmm.
it's not really coming from like a emotional part is more coming from, I mean, emotion is there, but it's more like a level of mindfulness and insight, knowing where you need to be. And I'm in support and I'm looking at all the different factors around that. So that way you do have that. I'm nurturing that, right? It's not like you
Mm-hmm.
just keyed in on just the emotional well being. You're actually keyed in on the whole dynamic of
Mm.
where they need to be. And so when you talk about the metal piece, I mean, well, with your experience, like, oh, there's that metal during that phase. And for you, it's even probably more stronger. You're more tapped into the metal
Mm-hmm.
based off of your own individual numbers and this overarching phase that you're in.
Mm.
So, we think about it, it's like, you're mastering, it's like, oh no, I know my boundaries. I ain't gonna apologize. I'm gonna take me some me time. you know, but that's where you're at, right? And that's where you're at. And it's good for women, especially young women, to see that, 'cause especially, when they're younger, they're younger mothers, they might spread themselves too thin,
Mm-hmm. I did, yeah.
you know. And so, but now you see, like, no, 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 I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that here. Been there, done that.
Exactly. You took the thought out of my head. That's what I was thinking. Been there, done that, won't do it again. Exactly.
Yeah, we'll do it again. Understand the consequences of that, right? And so,
Mm-hmm.
your numbers are 6, 7, 4, 8. So people kind of know, they're kind
Mm-hmm.
of curious. Your soul numbers are 6, 7, 4, 8. And so the 6 is the intuitive side of you. That lines with your emotional lineup. So for you as a woman, and you're all woman, right? You're all woman.
Thank you. Yes, I
Yeah.
am.
So your emotional gateway is not really through the emotions. Your emotional gateway shows itself from the intuitive aspect of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And we refer to this as the soul seer archetype. And so this is the um, aspect of understanding the power of detachment,
Mm-hmm.
uh, the reclusive nature of you, but yet this partnering aspect of yourself as well. This highly appreciation of wisdom and understanding, this insight, um, willing to be inspired and to inspire others. So
Mm-hmm.
this is how your um, emotion for you, what it looks like. It's not like, oh, I need acceptance. Your emotional look is, it's more about the actualizing yourself and actualizing
Mm-hmm.
other people and seeing that everyone is operating in who they really need to be. Will you agree with
Mm-hmm.
that?
Yes, for sure. For sure. Like I said, I don't know. Maybe I would talk to you, but I'm like, I am like the matriarch of my family. Like, I want to make sure everyone is good, even when working with the goddesses. Like, I'm good when they're good. You see what I'm saying? Like, that is truly how I feel. When the people that I love, if I've inspired them and I've helped them and worked with them, then I feel like I've actually been validated myself,
Nice.
almost. Like, that's like validation for me. Like, oh yeah, you see what I'm saying? Everybody's good. I've assisted in that. Okay, I'm good. So yeah, nah, for sure. For sure.
So that's the
For
emotional
sure.
side. The emotional side.
For
and
sure though.
so,
Nah.
that's the and the thing about it is, what overarches over the emotional part is the sense of oneness, right? That togetherness.
Hmm.
So your whole, because typically we think about the average, the woman is, when you talk about the emotions, oh, the emotions and it's scattered and stuff. That's not you. You're not coming from that space. It's a mixture of the water element, right? So it has that, but it has the metal in it. It shows up there,
Hmm.
and then it has the air, and you have a lot of air in your chart too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So when you express yourself emotionally is coming through the aspect of trying to give wisdom, trying to give guidance, trying to inspire, and you desire that as well. And just
Yes.
overarching inside of your part of your makeup is so the aspect. So it's interesting because you don't really have a strong score of the earth wood in yours, and that's typically like, oh, the nurturing quality. But when you look closely, it was like, well, you see this nurturing part, like I said, this matriarch effect. Well, it comes from your air and your metal combined mixed together.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of gives
Mm-hmm.
that. So it's almost like that, the old, the southern, the grandma's going to give you they're going to give you some insight. They're not going to cuddle you.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to give you insight. Their cuddling is giving you the life lessons, the life guidance. Where someone else might
And
be more,
making sure you look at self. So that I'm
yeah,
a big like you need to look at yourself first. Yeah,
see,
nah. Like what did you do? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. 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 No, I'll put a bandage on your knee, but we're gonna talk about how you got the scratch on your knee and what you could have done in order to not get the scratch on your knee. And so I think all of that is part of nurturing, not
yeah.
just to coddle you and kiss the boo boo.
Okay, see y'all hear that? So let's say more. Look, it must be good because he said, So and I'm bringing this out because so people can see, and hear like, oh, because you know how it is. We get pigeonholed and we get confined
Mm-hmm.
into certain expressions, especially women, right? It's like where you're supposed to show emotion, or someone like this one I'm close to, and like, well, and they talk about how their child's like, well, you weren't really affectionate to me, and da da. And it's like, who said they had to be affectionate the way you think it's supposed to be?
And I would get that a lot in um, my my marriage is the two things that I never worried about anything, which wasn't true. I just didn't feel it necessary to express it and put that worry on others, and that I wasn't affectionate. Like I'm not an affectionate person, but I am. I
Yes,
feel like. I mean, I may express it differently, and I better understand that now because I had myself convinced that I wasn't affectionate. Just because I'm not touchy feely, I'm expressive. You see what I'm saying? I let you know I'm there for you when you call, you need me. I may not, you see what I'm saying, initiate a hug, but I'm going to accept it and embrace it if you initiate it. So I do see now that, yes, I was affectionate. It just wasn't what people thought affection should look like or feel like or be.
right, right. And I'm
Hmm.
glad you said that because you just proved what I was getting ready to say. Because like I said, you have a lot of air. Everything you just broke down is showing the air aspect of it versus an earth look of it, right?
Mm. Mm.
You know,
Yeah, yeah,
just what
okay.
you said. Yeah, see, that's what I love doing. This is what I like to do. And so you brought that. So because here's the thing, so everybody understands this too. You have an 8 in your profile, and the 8 is the
Mm.
social side of you. The 8 is that communicative part of you.
Mhm. Mhm.
And now the 8 with your 6 is highly productive inside you. Is
Mm.
very, yeah, very, a lot of creative energy comes from that. So you really get your juices going when you got the conversation, you got the communication, and the level of expression that you need. And I know we grown tonight, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it. It also highlights, it probably activates your sexual energy. That's what the numbers say. I'm just saying. Amor, you on here? Am I right? Look,
I love me some. Yes, you are. I every time. Yes, yes. And I mean, it's like it's like food, or it's like good conversation to me is like orgasms. Like that, and that is just the truth. Like I get excited. It drives me. It gives me energy. It pushes me. Like if we can't have good conversation, we can't have a we. If you get what I'm saying, like there's not, I can't deal with it. Like I can't, I have to be stimulated that way.
Mm.
I have to. That type of that type of stimulation is very important to me. Like very, very important. Very. No, you definitely hit the nail on the head there.
Mm-hmm.
Nah,
See,
like a yeah, nah, good conversation. Like yeah, yeah, yeah,
he said, good conversation, good
yes, good
vibration,
conversation,
good
good
vibration.
vibration,
He said back in the day, good vibrations, good conversations, good
good
vibrations.
conversation. Yes, yes,
You know,
important, very,
do me a
very
favor.
important.
I know if Moore is on here, we could bring him on if he's able to. Send him the link that I sent you on your
Hmm.
phone if you're able to, and he could,
Hmm.
just we you're not still gonna vibe, but you could pop him in. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
If you're able
okay,
to. But don't if it's gonna disrupt this, don't do that. I'll try to inbox him. I don't think we're not even friends, but
okay, okay.
I'll do that. Um,
Yeah, because it threw me off when I tried to share it.
no, don't do it. I got you. I got you. Are you on here, bro? Because if so, cause we're probably not. But go ahead, listen. I'm listening to love. I'm just trying to hit him on. And
Yeah,
okay,
no, we were just talking about how important good conversation is. Like it's extremely important.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Come on.
Joy called. She said, "Can you come get it?"
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going. If he's on here, we'll give you a heads up, my man. I'm going to drop it in your inbox. So you're probably going to have to go in there because I know we're not friends on it. But so you just hold on. Here we go. But I have his thing, so I'll just drop it in his inbox if he wants to hop on.
Okay.
Yes,
All
I
right.
got you. I got you. So the good vibration. So you're emotionally stimulated by good conversation.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what you just confessed here. Um,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah, the truth is the truth. I shall not tell a lie.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
hmm hmm She says she shall not
I shall
today.
not tell a lie. Nah,
Yeah,
not
not
ever. No need to. I'm in that phase of my life. I don't have to lie to kick it. Never did. So no, no. Mm-mm. The good book says the truth shall set you free.
set you free. Set you free.
Yes,
Set you
set you
free.
free.
So okay, so it's cool delivered. So he can, if you want to hop on, man, just click that link, brother. I just put it in your inbox, so you good. So your 8/6 is highly productive. So someone like you, right, is
Mm-hmm.
how you move. There's a lot of air. There's a lot of that. So the nurturing from you, um, and I like this. We're gonna touch on this love because I want women to understand. It's like, and Venus is a very love. Let me tell you something. Venus has a very good love energy. You know what I'm saying? And well, we get the dialogue, we get the vibing, and real chill, and we like sink into that. But that's really how your emotional connection looks.
Mm.
It ain't really about a bunch of hugs and kisses. They're not saying you won't because you got that four going on, so we know you got. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, no, no. I like no. I like hugs and kisses too.
That's like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't want to like think like she anti kiss and hug and touches. That's not what we're saying.
Exactly. No, no, no. Yeah,
No,
that's
no,
not me.
no, not at all. We're just saying that you're so didn't clean it up for everybody. So we're like, no. She's but she her natural default in expression in terms of reference of a soul blueprint is going to uh hey, what's good, Etha? She's on here. Is going to show through the intuitive aspect of yourself, and how that will look is a lot of great information sharing, dialogue, the creativity coming from that. Yeah, look, Moore's hopping on a little bit, so we got here. I'm gonna bring him on stage.
All right.
Peace, peace, peace. Greetings, 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 brothers.
Greetings,
Hey,
greetings.
sis.
Greetings, my twin.
Hey,
Hello.
twin.
Yeah. So we got a more on here to make sure we're gonna put Venus on the hot seat. So if I touch
Oh,
certain
you're gonna
points,
get somebody that know me so well. It's all good.
no. But just much shout out to earlier we was talking about the lovers movement, the healing movement that y'all kind of bringing forward and stuff like that. So I just wanted to just give honor to that and just respect for that,
Appreciate it.
because similar work stuff, and I get it. And but we're kind of just hitting on this whole phase of femininity, this book I released, and I'm quite sure I know you teaching a lot of different things, so we can just add to the conversation.
Okay.
And because, and I saw someone say, I love the progression of a woman's comment. So yeah, we're going to go back there because this aspect, and y'all can talk because y'all know each other so well. So this going to add more juice to everybody's getting right here, Venus, because the emotional part and how that's expressed. Because one part, like I said, is not like she's not nurturing. It's just the nurturing looks different from the emotional space from her. She's probably someone that I probably give you advice, guidance, or like give you what we say, I guess, like another friend might say verbal hugs, right?
Mhm.
The affirmation, the inspiration, and the willing to collaborate. That's also a thing, Venus. So it's like your emotional stimulant is being able to partner and collaborate. So based off the numbers or more, is that from your view and from from your twin, basically, is that kind of, does that line up with her?
That does. That does. Um, like her nurtures that doesn't stop at just a coddling thing. Like it's okay, yeah, I see it. I'm gonna help you with this injury or this boo boo, but we're gonna talk about how we got to the boo boo because the nurture I want to give you is so you don't repeat the mistake.
Exactly.
Okay, keep
Exactly.
on. I'm
So
That's
yeah,
listening.
that's it.
okay, yeah. Oh, that does look bad. All right, now what happened? What was your role in it? It wasn't just a street involved. It was you too. Okay, yeah, you might want to start looking up when you're walking and not texting so much. But I'm gonna go ahead and give you that loving energy to help heal it and feel it better. But we also gonna discuss how we're gonna not do it again.
It's a
Yeah.
must. You don't want to repeat the same mistakes, and I think that's a
Right,
lot of what we're doing, anyways. Is we're repeating a lot of the same mistakes, even though we know where we come from and we know where we, and we have some insight on where we're going. We're still repeating the same mistakes,
right.
Mm.
and so
Repeating the
that's what
same.
we're for. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we're for. All these grown folk conversations. Like, if I've made that mistake, why should you have to make it?
Right.
You should the grown folks
Period.
when they talking so that you won't. And that's what these conversations like this, need to
Period. And
happen. Where grown folks talking.
So we had this talk
so
with twin.
now, go ahead.
I said, me and sis
Okay.
had this talk. How people are getting to a point they done work, they're able to identify their triggers, but then what?
Mm.
They're not doing the work to for them not to be triggers no more. It's like finding a landmine and say, okay, I marked it, but you're not fit to disarm it.
Yeah. See, and that's dope because that's what this Venus was talking about this earlier. That's what this book does. When you kind of get this layout, it's like
Yeah,
okay, these certain phases, and like she was kind of just saying about her, her past relationship. It's like, oh, we went to this, we entered this whole phase together, and so now either old past triggers or trigger formulated based on the evolution.
Right.
Because some people think the trigger might have always been there. No, the trigger could be developed in just you evolving.
True.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for example, you know, like all of us on here, we all mature as hell. So we use music for example. Because we see with kids, some of the music they play, like, what the hell you listening to? You know,
Yeah.
when we're kind of looking for something a little more calm. You know what I'm saying? You know, because
Mm-hmm.
again, because of the evolution, there's a different trigger, right? Or a
Yeah.
possible trigger. And so, and like what Moore is saying is, so okay, we identify it. Are we going to just let it sit there and become a landmine and blow everybody else that's going to come across this thing, or are we going to tap in, deactivate the landmine, and change the explosiveness, right? Are we going to be able to
Right.
dearm it? Can we dearm it? And that's what I think what it comes down to is one of the benefits of understanding our cycles and phases is that it allows us to be able to dearm any potential triggers.
Beautiful.
You know, and that's the and that goes along with the whole love vibe. You know,
Right.
I was telling students earlier. I said a lot of times we get caught up. We got these misdefinitions of love, so we don't get into that. That's a whole nother round. But but I will say this: love is not blind, and love not here to hurt you. Love is here to
Right.
enlighten you. And so when we start to understand that we're not falling into anything, we're just being, we're
Right.
reflecting, we're
Right.
aligning. And
Right.
so if I'm not reflecting, aligning, there's something that's blocking that.
Right.
What's that
Mm-hmm.
landmine? What do I need to de-armor myself to open this portal of love or this other different additional light that's coming from a light source? What is it?
Mm-hmm.
You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And like Venus is saying, so her emotional self is not gonna let you just walk by with that.
Right.
She's gonna bring attention to it. She's gonna she
Right.
gonna put the flashlight on and be like, let's look at this. You know, and so that's interesting. So ladies and women that's listening to this, you know, this is another aspect because your emotional, be like this for clarity, everybody's hearing. Your emotional lineup might not be emotion. Okay, and I'm coming from the aspect of the whole numerical, the math behind Venus we're talking about right now. So it's not like it's emotion. Okay, hers is emotion intuition. So her
Mm-hmm.
portal into her emotional demonstration of what she shows out is through the intuitive house or the intuitive aspect of the self, right?
Mm.
Where
Mm-hmm.
someone like now, say like someone like me, um, it's going to come more from the imitative, right? So it's more of the dual reflective, the model aspect, right? So it's like there's a lot of like, oh, I see an aspect of me inside you. So then that stimulates me
Mm-hmm.
emotion,
Mm-hmm.
emotionally, right? And then, what month were you born in?
June.
June.
He's a
Oh,
Gemini. We're
it's the
twins.
same thing. That's why you smiling. So, so everybody, so you the same way with her emotionally is you come from the intuitive aspect as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, based off of that lineup, and so and some people might come more from the intellect, right?
Right.
So there, and this is and so can women be women? Absolutely. There's women can come from so their emotional gateway looks more from the intellectual side,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's not all about uh being more sensual, feeling and touch. It's these different aspects of yourself that
Understanding.
aligns the demonstration. So go ahead, Venus.
Okay.
I was just going to ask. So, would those women be considered of women who present more masculine?
Yeah, you know,
Okay.
but
Okay.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. Just like you got masculine in your so I'm glad you said that. So for everybody can just catch what it's saying. So the six that Amor have and Venus have, those are androgynous gender energy alignments, and
Mm-hmm.
it's androgynous dominant. So y'all share in that. So there's a dominant aspect, but it's not. It don't look masculine. It might appear masculine because it's dominant, but it's
Mm-hmm.
coming more
Mm-hmm.
from the alignment of the androgynous part.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and then so then you have that right. So Now, some might have a masculine dominant alignment inside their emotional uh, gateway. Absolutely. You know, does it mean she's a woman? Yeah, she's still a woman. She just her energetic, her blueprint, her default and tendency will um, shift there, right? Or come out that way. So it's like, so now, which I'm very big about, because everybody, it's not about compromise, it's about the interplay. That's a skill set.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
I'm able to recognize, okay, you are coming more emotionally from the masculine dominant side. So let me interplay, right? In acknowledging that, not trying to take it away, but understanding you're coming from this bridge. But see, I'm like that
And
because I got
not
that. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, and not necessarily like shunning it. Oh, she's just this masculine, hard person. But let's utilize this. You see what I'm saying? Let's
Yes,
nurture this. Let's see how this works to benefit us instead of
absolutely.
shunning it. And I think that's a lot of what's going on because we don't understand each other in the depth that we should. You know,
Hmm.
we think that we go deep to know people and I love them, but how deep do you know? Like you said, and so just going back to the book, just if you really want to know people, then you should want to understand the different phases of their lives and different. You see what I'm saying? And how to, like you said, interplay that masculine and that feminine, and it goes both ways. So even if I like a man who presents more feminine, as people would say, how does that help me? You see what I'm saying? How do I better understand it? How do we nurture it? What am I? You see what I'm saying? If I'm drawn to that, what am I needing? What can I give? How do we feed that instead of he's too soft or he's a simp? So
Yeah,
it goes both ways.
absolutely. And that's so. Yes, dailies. Eventually, there'll be a book for phase of masculinity. If you check, in deep dives, some of the people that been rocking with me and some of the deep dives, we'll get into that. Um, and so good. Hey, what's up, Mo? You got all grown folk up on this thing. Chocolate. And you got yes. So how do we see the balance? And so, I was going to venture there, like with Venus in a more so much. So we'll use the example. I'm talking about the masculine dominant part, right? So to make it simple, it's like, well, inside that archetype, right? Inside that level of motivation and pursuit, what what is it looking for, right? This part of someone's self.
Mhm.
We know that comes from the intellect. So it's looking for knowledge, right? So if a woman
Mhm.
or a man, but we're talking about, say, if a woman has more coming through the intellect gateway of the emotional side, right? And so he was on here. Well, how do I know? If you was born in July, you have you have a masculine dominant intellect gateway in your emotional side. So if you on here, go ahead and make a comment if you identify. I know some people got sevens in there, soul profile, but up under your moon alignment, some of y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Just let us know in here. But so now the thing about it is the pursuit of knowledge in that, but it must vet itself with truth because the knowledge is all knowledge is not necessarily truth.
Hmm.
So it can get emotionally frazzled. So a woman, if she's caught up in information, right? She can be overly intellect. So what's the thing that helps balance that? It's the truth factor, right? And so once that helps bringing the balance, and so the seek, then also up under that, and it's really the number seven, basically, what falls up under this that we're talking about, is seeking the accountability. So this type of woman doesn't really shy away from accountability. I know it's a buzzword, ladies. I know that, because most people say women don't want accountability. So we're gonna say it, right? So, but a woman that's taking on the emotional lens that looks more like the masculine dominant, you'll see that she doesn't really wrestle with accountability or taking lead or asserting herself emotionally. Now, unfortunately, due to conditioning, and more you probably can relate, is that when a woman is operating that way emotionally, it probably puts off a lot of men if we don't have our skills up and know how to be adaptable,
Right.
right?
Right.
To understand that this is her emotional display, right? Even right now, like with y'all, like with Venus, Venus has a dominant position emotionally. So there's going to be parts of her she's going to assert,
Hmm.
you know, herself. It might not be as hard because it's not coming from a masculine aspect. It might be more, you know, more comforting, more still, and more, you know, serene. But it's still like, yo, you
Baby,
know,
let's think about this,
yeah,
baby.
yeah, yeah. You know, so look,
Yeah,
see,
no, I see it. Like, a little encouragement. Well, yeah, yeah, no, for sure.
Like I
Yeah.
mentioned before on a post I was talking about my sister, like she has the strongest, softest voice.
yes, yes,
I get so convicted, she get all sweet. I know I did something that she corrected me for, but it all sweet. Don't like it's supposed to sting, but it feels
yeah,
kind of good.
yeah, yeah,
Morris said, did you just correct me? Yeah, well, yeah, but it was
yeah.
it was filled with
It's
love
a
is
love,
love.
Yes, of course.
yeah,
That's what the confusing
yeah.
part was.
Love, but love corrected, love corrected.
Right. And love caresses. Even in correction, love caresses if you allow it, if you're able to be open to it.
Hmm.
Nice.
Hmm.
Someone got a comment that says, totally agree with Venus. There's a brilliance in our design. If we move beyond judgment, we will find the gold in our personal designs. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what this does when you go through the phase of femininity and we're understanding aspects of the self and we're kind of going a little bit deeper in terms of the emotional look of Venus and how that plays. So in that, right? Because we typically, so we talk about the emotional position of ourselves. The early phase of women, that discovery phase, it's really encircling a lot around that emotional understanding of who she is. Um, if you could think back, Venus, and I guess, and so the first phase, everyone is checking in, because I want to make sure everybody still can follow me a little bit. But y'all gotta get the book. You know what I'm saying? Just let y'all know, y'all gotta
Exactly.
buy the book. So hold up. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta buy the book. Show a brother some love. Show us some love. Because you buy the book, it's gonna allow me to be able to bring more of this stuff out. So phases of femininity, and I already hear people requesting for the masculine side. Buy the book, and we can give me ammunition to bring some other stuff out. But um, there's that discovery phase. Okay, it's um, policed or motivated by what we call the empathy pillar. Okay, and that's coming from the emotional space. That's coming from in that emotional space, and more you're like this on the metaphysical side. The forces during that time is about attraction and repulsion. That's
Hmm.
directly
Hmm.
aligned with the emotional makeup of all of us, man or woman.
Right.
Okay, but what is moving under this time from that 16 to 25, those 9 years, that's highly, so the woman's trying to understand, what she's attracting, what she's emitting emotionally
Hmm.
to others or herself, and then also what she's pushing away. And so that all depends on her what state of being or where she's at.
Right.
So Venus, when you think about that, because you do have this six, you do have this intuitive side. I'm quite sure when you was younger, you know, uh, you was that person, and everybody pause when you say something because you spoke beyond the surface. She's pausing.
No, no. I can agree with that. Like, I really could agree with that. I, I've
Okay.
always been. I would say, and I would think, and I could be wrong, that I was the person who people would come to for advice, but also I'm going to speak the truth. If I'm understanding what you're saying, like, I'm going to speak
Yeah.
that truth. I'm going to, you know, I'm gonna go deeper than the surface. I'm the one that wants to know the when, why, where, and then the how, and then we can fix it. Even when I was younger. Like I was the one, if someone, I could give it a good example. I'm going to think things all the way through before I do them.
Okay.
All the way through. I'm going to encourage my friends to do the same. And that was so that we wouldn't get in trouble. But we're going to think of all of the scenarios. You see what I'm saying? Like, and they would, and so because I could do that, because that's who I was, even at an early age, like I felt like I would be the one. I was the one that my friends would listen to.
Mm.
Like they
The
would
voice.
listen, not just even my friends, but my family members would listen to,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because it was
So,
always deeper than the surface.
so during that, so early on your womanhood, right? How do you think? Because you say you got married when you was like 21, 22, something like that, or 23.
I had my first child at 21. I didn't get married until I was 27, but
Got
it
you.
was to the father, yeah, the father of my child.
But y'all was connected. So
Oh yeah, very.
how? So during that time, so check what I'm about to say because this is interesting. So based off of the emotional aspect we got done talking about, because you are now in this blossoming phase. You know, you're about to be 49, so you know you in that
I'm about to be
regal.
50.
Yeah, you about to. I'm sorry, you about to be 50. You about to cross over. You know what I'm saying? Into the 50, 50. Um,
Yeah.
definitely go down the journey and look at when using that first phase emotionally understanding. Now we understand you have this intuitive aspect. How that look in the discovery phase, if you can remember, how that look in the confirmation phase, and so you can understand that we know discovery phase is that self exploration, right? And the emotional curiosity that's mixed in with your emotional, intuitive expression of yourself. Then when you go into when you got married in the confirmation phase. That's more like I said, that cheerleading part you talk a lot about. That is about the acceptance, the emotional regulation. So how do you regulate the emotion? How do you regulate it, the intuitive aspect during that time you can remember? And then when you got into the blossoming, I'm sorry, the magnetizing phase, which we was talking about earlier too, that's more about the self mastery and tap into the feminine power until now. So basically, you can speak to
Okay. So,
4 different phases emotionally. Tell us what you recognize in each phase and the differences from your lens you have right now. Take us on that journey.
okay. So I would say that I shut down my intuition
Mm.
going into marriage because it would have I felt like it would have led me places that I didn't want to go. Even if I felt it, or even if I knew it, I did not accept it or express it. And this was definitely from the time I had my children. When it came to relationships, I kind of suppressed that intuition. I knew it was there, it would hit me, but I wouldn't express it. So, and I feel like a lot of that was out of not just acceptance, but I'm married. I don't want to rock the boat.
Okay.
And then when you move into the second phase, um, same thing, kind of suppressed it. It wasn't until this third phase that I started to truly accept, move, and live in that intuition. And I feel
Mm.
like that is what, remember when I told you, like when I started to feed into self and accept self and love
Yeah.
self. hmm
Excuse me, sis.
I
Excuse me, sis. I just want to say bye. I have that bathroom. So I just want to say bye real quick. Appreciate you, brother. We will catch up.
Yep.
Sis, I love you. We will
Okay.
talk soon. Looking forward to
okay.
getting receiving your book, brother. I'll be seeing you the link
All right.
or
What's up, man?
asking for the link.
Okay.
Love you.
Love
Kiss
you.
kiss.
Sis.
All right. And so I think once I started to accept, love, move, and feed into myself in this phase that I'm almost, leaving, I didn't allow myself to live in it. So I think it was suppressed, it was oppressed,
Mm,
and I did it. I can't blame anyone else, but I did it. And it was when I decided to freely be who I am, embrace my femininity, embrace, you see what I'm saying, that intuitive part of me, and listen to it. I could
mm,
see things. You see what I'm saying? I would see things. They were always there, but I didn't allow myself to see them. And
mm,
so I think, and that's why the book to me is kind of important, because it shows you that you shouldn't do those things. Like, this is a phase of your life that is going to help you move to the next phase. And so if I had known that this was a phase of my life that was natural, and it was going to help me move in the direction that I needed to move in, then I could have been more accepting and maybe allowed that intuition to lead me earlier.
mm, mm,
hmm
mm,
So, and that's just truth speaking. That's just the
mm.
truth speaking.
So when it came for you to go into the power, you really went into that power, and it's like you started to own that
Yes,
whole intuitive
yes,
part.
yes, yes.
No more, no more. So what did that feel like as a woman that was suppressing their intuition um, during those previous phases? Like what did that, suppressing it? What did it do to you? With it inside you? Now that you can look at it, what did it do to
If
you?
I tell people all the time, like, at this point in my life, I feel like I'm in a perpetual state of happiness, because there's a certain freedom that when you can live in your truth and be who you are. You see what I'm saying? And I knew that that was a part of me. I knew that I could be guided by my intuition way back then. You see what I'm saying? Even when I would express, you see what I'm saying, how I could, talking, just simply having conversations with my mom about what I felt and what I was thinking, and in my unctions, you see what I'm saying? And she would tell me, you need to listen to that. You don't suppress that. That is you telling you where to go, and it's your inner God, and still, you see what I'm saying? And still suppressing it. So once I was able to just live in it, you see what I'm saying? It was a freedom. It was a freedom that I hadn't felt, and I feel like I live in like a perpetual state of happiness at this point in my life. You know, it allows me to move in my freedom. It's a
Mm,
knowing. It's being guided by knowing, and it's a reassuring. It's a self reassuring. That I wish that I had embraced earlier.
mm. So you got the full validation that you needed from the intuition. Your sense of freedom,
Mhm.
your sense of validation of who you are as a woman really came from your from your intuitive freedom.
Mhm.
That's different. We don't hear a lot of that, right? We don't.
Mhm.
And I think that's important because we hear a lot of women talk about they don't feel seen. They feel they gave a lot of themselves up in relationships, especially
Mhm.
we have long-term relationships, and we lost that part because we're so. And this I hope everybody's catching what we're saying because this is why I don't use when I talk about relationship. This is why I don't talk about compromise because as soon as you put that compromise ideology inside a relationship mix, that means somebody is superior and somebody is inferior,
Exactly.
and that's not
Somebody
what it's
won and
supposed to be.
somebody lost.
Yeah, somebody won and somebody lost, and that's what I keep saying. It's about the interplay. If the skill set of interplay was in there and understanding, like you said, it's like okay, this is it's a strong aspect of you. We all have intuition, but in your soul
Mhm.
profile, in the blueprint, it's more prominent in you. So this has to be
Mhm.
more welcome, more stimulated, more cultivated, and given a setting
Embraced and
where it
respected. And respected.
yes.
Respected. That, and that's something that my intuition was not respected by my ex. It was not embraced. It was, and for good reason. Because if I had followed my intuitions, I
Uh-oh.
would have. There would have been a lot of things that I had known earlier in the game. So no, of course, and what simply, and we're saying deep intuition, like, I feel that, and I would bring that up to him, like, hey, I'm feeling like this, and this and such, and then it's like you just crazy,
Hmm.
nah, that ain't, but
Well,
no,
you
and I know that's just a simple example, but yeah,
okay?
yeah,
So you can see that. So um, yeah, we talked about a lot, right?
yeah.
So what else did when you read through it? What else? For everybody listen, what else did it really bring to you? That well, is there anything else that hit home for you that you think uh, the ladies and the fellas can pull uh, off this vibe we got going on?
I would say that it's a it's well, I said it earlier. It's a cheat code. It's a cheat code into the phases of a woman's being, a journey that majority of us take, and it gives the men a better understanding if they really truly want to know um, who, what, and how to understand a woman. This book really does kind of help. It gives you a look into the phase that you see what I'm saying, that your particular partner may be in, and then it also gives you um, insight on what she's feeling. You see what I'm saying, and what she's thinking, and how she's moving, even if she's not expressing it. And
Mm,
that's the thing. Like a lot of us have been taught, especially at my age, have been taught that you should be seen, not heard, and so we quiet ourselves, and we don't express our feelings as much because we've been told we're too emotional. So I think this gives the men a guide. Okay, well, my lady, my partner is in this phase of her life and she needs this, or my lady's in this phase of her life and she's not, or okay, well, we're moving into this different phase, because I think there are two phases, three phases that we're taught as women. It's the pre-pubescent stage. It's the stage of puberty where we can have babies, and then there's menopause. Those are all the only phases I've ever been taught when it comes to womanhood. And now I have a broader idea, a better idea of what phases I have been through, and then in trusting that, reading this book and trusting and seeing, yes, I went through all of these phases. These are the phases that I went through. I can trust that final phase is a phase that I can go through now, and now I better know how to maneuver through that phase. You
mm,
see what I'm saying? So, yeah, being through those first three and seeing that this book actually, I mean, just laid it out. It later, like it took my history and put it on paper. Yes, these are phases that I went through, that, and like I said, I can better trust that last phase is, I'm gonna go through it as well. But now I got like a cheat code,
the cheat code.
and
The cheat
yeah,
code.
like a cheat code, and I would say women who are in that first phase, that 16 to 25. Yes, yes, it will give you a better idea of how to maneuver emotionally, because you know what phase of your life you're in, and what what part of you needs to be fed. Because in different phases of your life, you need to be fed different things, and so it just gives you some insight. Like I said, it's a cheat code.
Yes, I like
And
that.
yeah, you're a bad brother, because this one really, I've read your books before, but this one was like on point, on point. At least it to me, it like read me in my life. It read this old lady's life, and I would definitely, definitely, definitely suggest it to all women in all phases. But if you are a 19, I mean, if you're 16 to 25. Yes, please, please invest. Please invest and use it as a tool to understand self. Because a lot of times we don't even understand. We don't know what phase we're going through. All we know is our hormones are hormoning, and then our hormones stop. So,
And so for like a visual people can kind of get this book is because everybody probably like, well, how a man gonna, you know, this book is written as a commentary influence from the metaphysics, a metaphysical understanding, and merging with the numerology piece. And it's not traditional numerology, as some of y'all know. And it's breaking it down so you kind of can see this. And so, just like now, we're all in fall, right? We just gradually transition into another season, and we're going to be transitioning to another season, the winter.
mhm,
There's not a lot of rah rah. It's telling you, it's not no drastic abrupt shift. We begin to see hints of it before it fully comes into full season, right? So
mhm,
everyone think about the leaf. At first it was fully vibrant with green. Then we with the equinox, right? Then when the sun changes position a little bit, it's getting less sunlight, so the chlorophyll's being affected. So now the leaves are changing colors. And so all of a sudden it's going with the program, it's energetic, it's cosmic, is encrypted in nature that we're going through this phase and it cycles in and cycles out continuously. Well, it's the same thing with us. But what we're doing is capturing it on the soul level and the social level as a human. And right now we're talking about and as a woman, is like at the end of the day, inside all of it, you're going to go through these different progressive transformative phases. And you might not evolve, you might descend, but you're still going through these phases. It depends how you align in these initiation and how you take what's activated in you, right? Or what you fail to allow to be activated in you that you deactivate. And I'm glad you was transparent and said like the first two and a half phases, you actually deactivated the intuitive aspect of yourself. So
mhm,
that actually had its part of its own recourse, of course, um, in doing that. But then you like, I'm reclaiming my whole full power, and you realize I got to
exactly.
on the intuitive side, I got to re-embrace that. That's a part of me. That's a part of my power. That's a part of my soul dynamic. And so what we're doing is in this book, that's what it's capturing. It's real easy. It's an easy read. It's a quick read, but it's you're gonna go back to it over and over again because you begin to see
Mhm,
we even
mhm,
pinpointed down in between each phase. There's 9 years. So each year is a cycle, and it has a domain that police over that. And I explain that in there, as well. So you kind of can see in that. Now, some of you that might be interested in really tapping deeper and maybe getting more guidance from it can pull in actually your numbers in reference to where you're at and with your life cycle in the feminine phase and really begin to
mhm.
see the thing that's really coming at you. So it's more custom to really understanding where someone's really at. I mean, that's a whole um, another layer.
Mhm.
I like Daly said, being in the 50s is amazing. Absolutely.
It's freedom. 50 is freedom. 50, I can feel it. I started
Mhm.
feeling that freedom, like I said. I started feeling that freedom about, well, let me see. When did he leave? I started, I know. I started feeling that freedom about 4 years ago. And it is. It's a freedom. And it's also a freedom, like I said, the phases, the way that you break them down and how you add the elements. And I don't understand how the elements and numbers, um, play within it, but I understand when you say it and when you explain it, it's like, damn, yes, that's it. That's right. That's it. Yes, you see what I'm saying? So yeah, no, this is definitely, definitely a roadmap. It's a guide. Yeah,
Yeah. It's an
yeah,
interactive
yeah,
product. Yeah. Yes, I
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So you got any questions for me?
Uh probably just the one. And um, like you said, when we get into a space where we deactivate,
Hmm.
a certain part of ourselves in a journey, um, say for instance, me deactivating that intuition,
Yeah.
um, it's not necessarily in this book, but will there be a book that helps us understand how to reactivate so that we can continue to move? You see what I'm saying in that journey? Do you plan on doing that?
Yeah, I actually plan
Because
on
that's
doing
needed
it.
as well.
Oh, absolutely. That's where the deep dives, chiming into the deep dives. Right now, I
Hmm.
have a whole series, been doing called the Feminine Unwind, and we've been kind
Hmm.
of just digging into this. Now that everyone's been, they didn't see this coming because I didn't hit these
Hmm.
phases, but they were. And so actually, everybody realized I got another book going to drop real soon, in a couple of weeks, and it's called the Feminine Soul.
Hmm.
And so that's really getting more into the energetics. So not actually the woman, but the actual feminine energy and breaking that
Gotcha.
down, how it cycles out. But yes, there'll be um, different, like different stuff, and actually, then people getting their soul profile readings and things like that to bring these things out. But the deep dive, like you said, what you're talking right there is like people need that interactive to kind of start talking because that becomes situational, right? That's more like,
Hmm.
ooh,
Exactly.
like
Yes.
yeah. So how we work through that, and so
Hmm.
just encourage people on, a lot, certain people on here already knows, just hop into those. That's when we get into the deep dives. That's when we start doing that because a lot of times how I get the flow, I start looking at your individual numbers and start breaking this down, putting right here piece by piece, and you'll be able to
Hmm.
pull it out because a lot of things we have to simulate it, and that's one of those things that we got to simulate it or cosplay it, right, to
Hmm.
really begin
Hmm.
to kind of walk in and get to that integration of that rebalancing factor. So and you see I'm talking real practical. I don't do all that loopy shit. you know
Yeah, you don't, but it's understandable. It's not only practical, but it's applicable too. You can apply it. You can
yeah,
apply it. But before I get off here, because I do have to go,
yeah,
I just
yeah,
want to thank you, like for real, like thank you, like I thank you for this book. I also know that when I first downloaded and I was reading through it, I have a coworker who is in the second phase, and so
mm,
she was even, yeah, she was even like, oh my God, yes, yes. But she said her sister and I are the same age. And she said she felt like her sister was kind of stuck in the first phase.
mm-hmm. And that can be.
Uh, yeah, so she even identified, you see what I'm saying, with it as well. So, I just want to thank you because, like I said, it's like it's a nice roadmap, to help map out your journey. And if you're going to, when you finish the deep dive, when you actually, okay, well, this is the tool to help you, you know, reactivate your intuition in the situation, and what tools you need to reactivate. That's gonna be like that's gonna be the lick, brother. Like you a bad man. I told you, bad. Like bad is bad meaning good, So nah, I
Well,
appreciate it. I really do.
I appreciate you, and just let people know, like, also on my, and I forgot that was part of the answer too. I forgot to say is on my Patreon. That's where the membership. So people, that's the paid membership. I work through. Will do Pacific deep dives for members. On
Hmm.
my Patreon to go through these things that we're talking about right here, so that way you can
Hmm.
implement, integrate, cosplay, demonstrate, and then recycle it to other people so that they can understand. So yeah, this is good food, I think.
Yeah, yeah. This is the beginning of many lives, many adult conversations
Yes.
that need to be had. Like, and this book is definitely, like I said, it's amazing. It put a smile in my face, and it actually made me better understand my old self.
Mm.
You know, and I think you do need to understand your old self in order to be a better person, a better self. Like you need to be a better person in this time. You need to better understand who you were and what phase you were in and why. Why was I in this phase? You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So yeah, nah, appreciate you. Appreciate you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you so much for the book and I definitely recommend it. I really do. And thank you for
Appreciate
having me on the live. Like I
Oh,
appreciate that as well. Like it is an honor. It is an honor. Nah, it really
yeah.
is. Thank you.
Thank you for hopping on. Just adding
Yeah.
life and you
Anytime.
know,
Anytime.
yeah, you know, it's grown folk doing things. So, but I know
That's
you about to
right.
hop off
That's right.
and
You gotta go get this baby of
yeah,
mine from this
yeah,
basketball game. So
yeah.
yeah, so peace until the next time. Love you and all the beautiful people. Thank you,
All right, love
thank you
you
for
too.
having me.
All
All
right,
right.
okay. So, as before I hop off of here, if y'all wanna, oh, thanks, dailies. If you want to put anything in the comments, I can read it real fast before I hop off of here and close out. But just let y'all know the Phase of Femininity is available. You can download it, actually today. I'll drop the link once, I'll pop off of here on the live if anybody hasn't put it in there yet. But I'll drop the link, in there. Or you can go to my bio link on my Facebook page or whatever and just go to my Linktree link and you kind of see it there. Um, but again, it's available. And some of you that want more interaction and to go more deeper into this, I'm actually going to be doing some exclusive additional explanations and offering different insights that will be over on my Patreon page. It's like $7 for membership, every month on that. And we're going to start diving even more and adding more layers uh, as for understanding and how to integrate and how to maximize these different phases that you go into in these different cycles and stuff. So it's like I said, it's all love and it's all geared to just refining ourselves and elevating ourselves. And for the brothers, I told a couple of brothers like this is definitely something um, you know that benefits us as well in understanding. I know for myself, I love this understanding because I utilize it, especially in what I do. I'm traveling all over the place and, I interact with a lot of different women, and grateful for. And so this really adds to, myself in understanding because a lot of us probably on here, a lot of us are probably definitely are in that, these later phases that we were talking about, but I also work with women that's in their confirmation phase. They're maybe in their early 30s, right? And they're getting ready to enter into it. So I'm kind of able to, you know, in a unique way to kind of speak to that transition, to help them kind of just cross over, help them, and or nieces, right? Daughters, and so forth. So or mentees, people that we influence. So it has great utility, across the board. It's definitely something you just don't, you'll refer back to it and just see different things. And I think one of the interesting things is when you sit down and really look at it, you'll be like, oh, in this phase, like Venus was saying, I was emotionally manifesting this, but when I got to this phase, I don't manifest that anymore. Or I wasn't concerned with that anymore. Or I wasn't moved by that particular stimuli that I once did when I was younger compared to now. And that translate over into this, and this. So it's a wide range, wide scope. I appreciate everyone that's been, already buying it now. Please drop a review. Um, and how you do that is you go back to the same link where you bought the book, and just right when you hit the link, scroll down to the very bottom where it says rankings and stuff, and please provide, reviews and stuff. Because at the end of the day, like I know my whole philosophy is move through the people. Um, the life is through the people, through all of us collecting and benefiting each other, edifying each other, so we can kind of bring different variations of healing. I'm very involved in doing the healing work, and healing is just restoring, and we can restore our sense of purpose, our sense of identity, give an understanding about our pathway that we're going, and so forth. That's just as important for healing ailments or uh, healing emotionally and everything and so forth. So this is definitely one to give life to. I'll just say that. Just like a lot of us gave life to the four agreements, give life to this, because this is really going to translate in many different ways as you evolve. All right. So that's what's up. I'm going to chime off of here. Appreciate everybody being on, and appreciate everybody in advance to get the book. The link will be available in there. If you want to check out my Patreon, you can Google that. Just go to patreon.com and type patreon.com living soul as one word, and you'll see me on there. And just join and rock with. You also can have a free membership, as well too. So there's some material that comes for being a part of the free membership on Patreon as well. So if you're interested in really getting more insight on the living soul numerology and these different wisdom texts being inspired from that system, such as this phase of femininity, I have feminine souls going to come out, and then another one's coming out called the feminine pillars and personas, and all these going to be coming out real soon. It's going to come out, just I'm gonna be rolling these things out, and then additional things, and keep an eye out on the deep dives, because in deep dives we definitely dive deep into all this, and we become more interactive and in different ways for how to implement a lot of these, and they're principally oriented, and we're just taking it, making it actionable for ourselves as it applies. So again, I'm gonna touch down off of here. Let me check this. We got some people on here. Let me try to read at least. That's what's up. So, hey, one love. And if you're interested and you read the book and you like to hop on and vibe out like I did with Venus today and like I did the other day with, Ether, inbox me, and we'll do this, and we'll vibe out and tap in. We'll get into the phase of femininity, how that applies to you, So, and I appreciate everybody who's willing to participate in that. All right. But again, until we touch back down again, one love, everybody be easy.